Namaste. So I'm just going to lead a short practice. I'm going to keep the warm-up fairly short, so maybe you can add this on to the previous video, and then I'm just going to leave maybe a 20-minute flow just to keep everything moving and everything open. So we're just going to take a seated position, just rolling your shoulders back a couple of times, just get the chest open and the shoulder blades down. Connect the breath in with it. So inhale as your shoulders lift up, and exhale, let them roll down. And again, take your time. Just keep that moving. Start just reminding yourself of the bandhas, Mula Bandha, at the very root of the body, just lifting up. Uddiyana Bandha, feeling the abdomen drawing back as you exhale. And then Jalandhara in the throat. Excuse me. Just giving you that more audible tone to your breath, your Ujjayi breath. So once you've taken a few rolls of your shoulders, just give your head a couple of circles side to side, just half circles to begin with. And then maybe full circles, or if you want to pause that on one side, then do the bells. Good, just take your hands behind your back, so your fingertips just resting behind you, and then just pushing through the fingertips, just press the chest forwards, just open out the heart space. Take a little bend in the elbows, so rather than pushing an arch of the spine, you're pressing the chest forwards, squeezing the shoulder blades together. So you want to keep your lower back fairly long. And maybe just taking that forwards into a gentle forward fold, just stopping wherever your body wants to stop. Try and lengthen through the spine, so you're lifting through the solar plexus. And then when your body wants to stop, let your head just soften slightly. Take your time, maybe over a few breaths you feel your body lowers. Some of you maybe you're able to get your forehead to rest to the ground, or maybe resting it on stacked fists. It's very early here. This is more comfortable for me first thing in the morning. Good, slowly bring yourself back up. Just change the way your legs are crossed, so take the other one in front, and again just take that chest opening. So again, keep the lower back fairly long, push through the fingers to press the chest forwards, shoulders squeeze back. Think tits and teeth. And breath. And then taking that forwards. Again, stay long through the spine, lifting through the sternum, and then fold. And slowly bring yourself back up. Good, just roll yourself over onto all fours. Just take a few cat and cow stretches there. If you did the last video, you've already done some of these, so skip it if you wish. Just get the back moving. Again, pausing if it feels good one side more so than the other. See if you can start the movement from the tailbone, so you get that rippling effect through the vertebrae. Starting from the tailbone as it tucks under, use the abdominals to support the inside of the spine. Good, let's take a twist here. So take the right hand into the center, lifting your left hand up to the sky or the ceiling. And then as you exhale, thread the arm underneath all the way until your shoulder and temple touch the floor. Maybe then lengthening your right arm up. You can tuck it behind your back. Keep opening the shoulders, but keep the back of your neck long. And then slowly unwind, pressing yourself back to all fours. Good. Taking the left hand in towards the center, right hand lifting up as you inhale. And then use the exhale, squeeze the belly in, wring out the body, thread the arm through. Again, temple to the floor, lengthen the back of your neck. Keep the tummy pulling in. Check in with your bandhas. And maybe lengthening the left hand up and over. Good, slowly unwinding. Good. And just take that into a child's pose. So open the knees, walk the hands out in front of you. Give yourself a wriggle there if you need to. Make sure you can breathe nice and fully between the knees. Take that into a side stretch. So walk both hands over towards the left or the right, whichever you go. Your right hand stacks on top of the left, and then draw the head back through between the arms. If you can, forehead to the mat. Keep taking them across until you can feel that stretch along the right side of the body or the outer side. Consciously breathing into that right side of the ribs. And then just try nudging your right armpit slightly closer to the ground. It might just deepen in again slightly there. Slowly taking yourself over to the other side, so over to the right. Your left hand is going to stack on top of the right, forehead between the arms, get the shoulders level, breathing into this left side of the body, opening out all those intercostal muscles around the ribs and your obliques. And slowly bring yourself back center. Good. And just come back into all fours. Just bring your knees back into parallel. You're going to take that into a puppy stretch to get the chest open. So you're going to just walk your hands forwards. This is a bit more gentle if your hands are wider, and a bit stronger if your hands are closer together. So you're going to let your chest just sink to the ground, keeping your thighs, your femurs, in a straight line, dropping from the hips to the knees, and then let your chest sink. If you feel you want to go deeper, if you're quite loose in your shoulders, come onto the fingertips and let your chest sink that bit deeper. Again, forehead or chin to the floor, whichever feels more comfortable. Keeping the hold of your bandhas and drawing the lower abdominals in to support your lower back. Pushing through your hands, lifting yourself back up. Tuck the toes underneath you, come to sit onto your heels. Slight parting of your knees and come right up onto your toes. We're going to just stretch the feet. If this gets too painful, just lift yourself up and then back down again. We're not going to stay here too long, but bear it for as long as you can. If it hurts, it's a good thing, it's working. So we're going to take a big inhale, swooping the arms up above you to the sky or the ceiling. Got a beautiful sky here. And then as you exhale, just bring the thumbs through the crown and to your heart center. Just twice more with that inhale. And exhale, squeezing the belly in. Once more. Exhale. Good. If you're still okay on your toes, take another inhale, reaching the hands up. Taking your right hand, hold onto your left wrist. Lift it a little bit higher and then reach across to the side. So keep reaching, lengthen the arm away. Don't worry about the shoulders too much. Just avoid them hunching around your ears. You just want to keep going until you can feel the stretch run between your ribs and your pelvis. So right into this space here to get into the intestine space around the organs. So tuck your tailbone down so we keep that space for the lower back. And you can either have your gaze lifted or down. Just make sure the neck feels fairly comfortable, relaxed. Slowly then lifting back to center. How's your toes? Left hand taking hold of the right wrist, lifting up. Tailbone down. Exhale as you reach. Again, just keep going until you can feel that stretch around the organs, around this side body, between the ribs and the pelvis. And slowly lifting back up. Take another inhale, stay on the toes. Exhale, think like that bottle opener feeling. So as your arms pull down, find the resistance and think your crown of your head is lifting up. So reach the hands down, keep lifting up through the crown, lengthening the spine, and then release your toes. Ooh. So maybe you need to just counterpose your feet. So if you want to just take your hands in front of your knees, take an inhale, lift the chest and the sternum, and then exhale, think tailbone tucking under, push through the hands and try and lift the knees. So you stretch the feet the other way. If you wear heels a lot or generally don't stretch your feet, this might feel equally as uncomfortable, but it's good for you. Good, slowly release the knees back down. Good, just give the ankles a little roll out, whatever feels good. And then bring yourself into removing a stone from under your mat, a downward dog. So take a little bend in the knees there, just check in with that wrapping of your shoulder blades. So making sure, if you can see, I don't know what's being filmed, we're avoiding this feeling. Shoulder blades are wrapping around the ribs, so you give space to your back. Again, check in with, look at my elbows, they're wrapping around, almost pointing towards the floor, so you can lengthen away with a nice strong back there. So just give that a little feel around for a few breaths. Again, making sure your tummy's pulling in, sit bones are lifting, and just keep moving the feet. Just hold the bend of your left knee, push your right heel towards the floor, just enjoy that stretch down the right leg. Check your shoulders are still strong. And then change legs, so bend the right knee, lengthen the left. And then come back to equal. Take your feet as wide as you can. Come right up onto your tiptoes and then drop both heels over to the right. Let your hips swing across and keep pushing through the hands. Your chest is trying to push back towards the legs. So you should feel that nice deep stretch down the side of your body. Breathe into it. As you next inhale, come right up onto the tiptoes and exhale, heels to the left, hips to the left, swing them across, push through the hands, keep breathing. Inhale onto the toes. I have lots of flies joining me this morning. Inhale and come into a plank position. So you're going to push through the heel of the hands, push back through your heels, tailbone drawing between your thighs, tummy pulling in. Push through the hands, shoulder blades are open. Go away, fly. Keep breathing, keep the neck relaxed, tummy pulling in. Any lower back issues going on, just drop the knees for a bit of support for your back. Keeping that mula bandha pulling in. Mula bandha pulling in. Make sure you're breathing. Take a last inhale. As you exhale, drop the knees if you haven't already. Chest travels between your thumbs. Keep your elbows pulling in towards the ribs. So elbows are tucking in. Chest lowers with control. Keep your tummy pulling in. Maybe just pause it there for a breath. And then slide onto the belly. Stretch the toes back behind you and push the feet then into the floor. Pubic bone pushing into the ground. Sense the tummy trying to lift off. If you had a little marble under your belly, you're trying to lift the belly away from the marble. Roll the shoulders down your back and then pushing through the hands. Lead with the back of your neck first and then unravel. So leading up, slightly pushing through the hands so you can get the sternum to lift, this heart space here to lift. This fly is determined to be part of my yoga practice this morning. Take a deep inhale and then exhale. Travel the heart forwards as you lower back down. Think of the vertebrae melting back to your mat and space coming between the ribs and the pelvis. Just take another cobra. Roll the shoulders back, lifting the chest. Inhale, lifting the chin. And then exhale, pull the chest forwards and down. Keep that tummy pulling in, pubic bone pushing into the floor. Good. From here, pushing back into all fours, strong hands, so avoiding lumping all of the force into your lower back first, and come up nice and strong. So take a full inhale on the ground. Use the exhale to push onto your knees, tuck the toes, and then back into your downward dog. Good, just walking the hands up towards a forward fold. Feet staying hip width apart, so let yourself drape over the legs, a little bend in the knees, if that feels more comfortable. Maybe linking the arms together. If you have folded your arms, sense your elbows then trying to draw towards the floor. Let your head relax. Tummy pulling in, or just notice whether it's tensing out, trying to force you over. Let Uddiyana draw the belly in. Sense your elbows drawing towards the ground, so maybe you can feel that stretch just shift up the back a little bit further. Nice long breaths. Relax the toes, relax your head, deepen the breath. Good, let your arms flop to the ground. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, just keeping a soft bend of the knees, start to unravel the body. Try to keep the glutes fairly relaxed, so we're not gripping from the glutes and lower back. Pull the belly in and use that to lift the body. Sunshine up here. Roll the shoulders down and lengthen the fingers to the floor. So just check in with your posture here while we're standing. Keep the feet hips distanced apart. Just try and lift the toes away from the ground, stretching them out. Try and push the big toe to the floor and keep the others lifted. And then change, so the other toes down, keep your big toes pointing up. And change again, just keep them swapping. Don't worry if that doesn't make sense. Try to avoid using your fingers or your eyebrows or your tongue. Good, stretching all the toes out. Try and occupy as much space of your mat as you can with your feet, so get them as wide and as weird looking as possible into the ground. A little bit more strength, pushing down through the ball of the big toe side so that you sense the arches of your feet lifting up, which will just help align your ankles a little bit. So always check in with their posture from the ground upwards. The toes are really important to get them nice and open. That's why we did that fairly horrendous toe stretch earlier as well. So just get the feet really nice and wide and parallel. Pulling up the knees, you feel the thighs are engaged, and then try and sense your inner thighs squeezing as well. So it's not a drawing in of the inner thighs, it's almost like the inner thighs are pulling the hamstrings, the back of the legs, forwards in front of you, so that you just can feel the inner side of your knees being engaged as well, just to support the parallel line. Pubic bone is slightly drawing, not forwards, but just be aware of how your natural posture is. For me, naturally, I sit in my lumbar spine, so I have to make sure that my pubic bone's just drawing forward slightly, your tailbone drawing down, without losing that natural curve of your spine. So we're not forcing the spine to be straight because too much gripping. just want to have it fairly relaxed. We're just finding that neutral kind of pose. So pubic bone just drawing forward slightly. Belly button lifting in and up. So again, just checking in with that bandha. So like you're just putting on that slightly tight pair of jeans. So it's just that little bit of lift. So you can check in with Mula Bandha, just contracting the perineum. Just take another roll back of the shoulders, so the shoulder blades slide down your back. This fly is still here on my shoulder. Go ahead and stretch the fingertips towards the floor and try and lengthen the crown of your head. If it helps, maybe just run your fingertips up the neck into the occiput, just the base of the skull. Just take a full inhale. And then as you exhale, sense you're lifting the head. So almost like you're creating a little double chin. But in yoga, it's beautiful. Double chins are beautiful, don't worry. Good, and then take the hands back to the sides of your body. And then just take another full scan of the body. See if you've now forgotten your toes or your inner thighs or your bandhas. Are you breathing? If in doubt, breathe. Good. If you have a view like this, it's amazing. I will show you at the end. So we're just going to run through a couple of basic sun salutations to get the body moving. So taking a full inhale, sweep the hands up above you, shoulder blades stay down your back, tailbone drawing down, belly lifting in, lifting the gaze to your thumbs. As you exhale, take the hands around in a big circle, curling from the spine as you fold. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, either hands to the shins to lengthen the spine, tummy pulls in and the crown of the head lengthens forwards. Or hands to the floor. If you're super loose in your hamstrings, try and get the palms flat. As you exhale, step the right foot and then the left foot back into a plank position. Again, just check in with that plank. So tailbone drawing down, open the shoulder blades, take a full inhale. Exhale, maybe the knees and chest that we did earlier, or full chaturanga, which I'll come to next. Inhale into that cobra, opening the heart space, squeeze the shoulder blades together, elbows in and down. Exhale, lifting your way through to your downward dog. Let's take a couple of deeper breaths here. Again, check in with your technique, make sure your shoulder blades are wide. So maybe take a little bend of the elbows, squeeze them together. Check in with the previous video if you want to work on that. Let's take a lifting up of your right foot. As you exhale, draw the knee towards your chest and step it between your hands. Lift it if you need to. Take a rocking back and spring your back foot up to the top. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, find that Urdhva Uttanasana, lengthening the spine. Exhale as you fold. Either coming up with a flat back or softly rolling up through the spine, which I think is preferable for our backs. Take an inhale as you rise, hands sweeping up. Exhale, hands come through the crown and to the heart center. Just take a moment just to scan the body from the ground up. Check in with the posture. Take another inhale and exhale to fold. Halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Planting the hands, let's step left foot and then right foot, plank position. Exhale, maybe knees and chest or full chaturanga. So if you're coming through full, rock the weight forwards, elbows squeezing in, control the body to a hover. Make sure your fingers are spread, maybe taking a pause here. It's quite hard to talk. Sweep the chest forwards, maybe coming into your up dog. So you're pushing through the hands, make sure the shoulders are away from your ears, long neck, tummy pulling in, maybe lifting the knees. If you want the support, keep the knees down. Take another inhale, chest opening. And exhale, over the knees, all the toes back to your downward dog. Check in with your posture. Relax your head. Tummy pulling in, keep breathing. Inhale, lift your left foot up. And sweep it through to between your hands. Rock the weight backwards, bring your right foot up to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, unravel, sweep the hands up. Exhale, hands to heart. And let's go again, inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, Urdhva Uttanasana. Stepping or jumping or walking or shuffling your feet back to that plank position. Exhale, any variation of chaturanga. Inhale, open the chest, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And let's take a little lunge. So lift your right foot up again, sweep it back between your hands and drop the back knee to the floor. So just let the knee sink down. Let's bring your hands to your knee. Lift yourself up out of the lunge. Just try and find a bit more of a right angle with your legs. So come right up high. Have a sense of almost tucking the tailbone under. So belly has to draw in to tuck the tailbone underneath. And then just lead the hips forwards from here. So like you're leading into the lunge through the front of your hip flexor. So you shouldn't need to go very far until you can feel quite a deep stretch in your hip flexor here, your front hip flexor. So keep the tummy really pulling in, tailbone down, and just sense leading forwards through the hip. Let's take an inhale, maybe lifting the hands up there as well. Lace the fingers together with the index fingers pointing up. Just keeping that height through the torso. Tailbone tucking, keep leading into it. Take a last inhale. And then exhale, hands to the ground. Let your hips soften to the floor. Maybe opening it out a little bit deeper now. So maybe see if you can send your knee back a bit further. Make sure this front knee stays over the ankle and the weight is pushing through the heel of your front foot. So you can feel your hamstring and your glute engaging here to keep us supported. Tummy pulling in. So we can take another inhale, lift the hands. Again, lace the fingers, index fingers pointing up, your Charlie's Angels mudra. So you want to have a sense that the hands are trying to pull apart from each other, but obviously because you have them laced, they don't. So you keep that strength working through the backs of your shoulders. Check in with your abdominals, pulling in, support your spine. Take another inhale, lifting up, maybe encouraging a slight heart lift or slight back bend. Keep that lower tummy pulling in. Take another inhale. And exhale, let the hands come to the floor. Tuck your toes at the back and lift your back knee. So push back through that back heel. Again, feeling that deep stretch, maybe run through your hip here. You're going to keep this left hand wide on the floor next to your foot. Lift your right hand up towards the sky or the ceiling. Turning the chest. Lift the gaze to your top thumb, but keep the neck relaxed. If you're feeling stiff in the shoulders, it might feel quite nice to take a few circles here of your arm. Let's do that. As you next exhale, take the hand to the floor, come back into your plank position. If you want to miss a chaturanga, pause in a downward dog or a child's pose. If you're coming through another flow, taking any variation of chaturanga. Inhale, any variation of your heart lift. And roll yourself back to your downward dog. Couple of deeper breaths. Take a deep inhale onto your toes. Let's maybe sigh the heels down. And again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your left foot this time. And step it between your hands. Drop the back knee to the floor. Release the toes. Or tuck them, whichever feels best. We're going to find that hip flexor opening to start with. So pushing onto that knee, lift yourself out of it. Maybe just adjust it so that you're in more of a right angle, and then tucking the tailbone. So you might already feel that stretch run through the front of your right hip. Just see if you can lead into it any deeper. Think leading from the navel. So keep the tummy pulling in so you can feel that quite deep stretch here through your hip flexor. Once you've found it, keep pulling the belly in. Take the hands up, lacing them together, Charlie's Angels Mudra. Feel the strength working through your shoulders as well, so try and separate our hands and so you can feel that working through your back. Take a last inhale, lift the gaze. And exhale, hands to the ground. Soften into the lunge, maybe just deepen, so the back knee might travel back just an inch further. Right hand stays wide onto the ground next to your foot. Left hand is sweeping up. Turn the chest, maybe lifting the gaze. Oh, no. Lift the hands, take another lunge here. Charlie's Angels Mudra. Keep the tummy pulling in. Just keeping you on your toes. Take a last inhale, lifting the heart space. Exhale, hands to the ground. Then coming into your twist, so your high lunge. So lift your back knee, push back through the heel, keep the right hand down, and then lift your left hand. Again, let's take those circles with that left hand sweeping round. Just keep the neck and shoulders nice and loose. Using your next exhale, bring the hand to the floor, step it back either to your downward dog or a child's pose or a chaturanga. Lead it through the flow. Gaze to your hands, bending the knees, stepping, walking or shuffling or jumping your feet to your hands. Inhale, take that halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Unrolling your spine, sweep the hands up to the sky. And then bring the hands to the heart center. Just pick your right knee in towards your chest and step it back behind you. So keep the feet parallel, so all the toes facing forwards. Just holding here. Try and get the weight level between both feet. All the toes are facing forwards, stretch the toes out. Just take a sweep, inhale, lifting the hands. Keep the hands lifted, shoulder blades down. Just take a bend into your back knee. I think my feet are a little bit too far open, so you just want to be about a step distance between your feet. So bend into your back knee, keeping the front one straight. So we're going to use this motion of the legs to work into our tummies, a really good cinching of your waistline. So we're going to take a deep inhale at the top. As you exhale, your hands are going to sweep around in a big circle. And then you're going to squeeze out all your breath, tailbone tucking under, pull the belly in, reaching forward through the fingers, squeeze everything in your body. So the back knee is bending, tailbone tucking, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the belly, squeeze out the breath. Let's do 3 more. So inhale, lifting up. And deep exhale, squeeze everything you can. Every drop of breath. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Take another inhale. Lace your fingers. Again, index fingers stretching up. I'm feeling this one today. Take a step further back of that back foot. And then like you're diving into a pool, you're going to reach the hands up and over, curl the spine, so pull the tummy in. Keep the thighs pulling up so they're staying really strong. Push them into the floor, your feet into the floor, so you can round the spine. Just coming to a point where your body wants to stop. Maybe taking the hands to your shin just lightly. Keep pushing the feet into the floor and out. Little micro bend in this front knee if we need to. If we can get the fingertips to the floor, then wonderful. If you are fortunate to have blocks or books around you, you can place your hands on something there. Try and lengthen the spine again, leaving open space through the front line of the body. And then maybe exhaling to soften, forehead drawing towards your shin. Oh, a deep stretch there. If that's feeling strong enough in this hamstring, just hold it there. If you want to deepen in, maybe take your fingers back towards your back foot. Keep drawing forehead towards your shin. Next option, maybe bending into your back knee to lean into it. And if you want to take a balanced pose, push into your fingertips, pull the knees together, and you're going to lift that back foot away from the floor, drawing the forehead in. Keep the shoulder blades open. And then replacing the foot if you had it lifted. Walk the hands forwards, just lift the back foot up towards the sky. Last little stretch for this front leg. Just take it as far as it'll go. If you're feeling brave, maybe take the left hand around, holding the calf muscles. You're in a standing split. If you're feeling super brave, take the right hand around as well and draw your body into that front leg. And then replacing the fingertips, lightly draw the foot to the floor, forward fold. Give the legs a shake and slowly unroll the body. Roll the shoulders down. Let's take the other side. So inhale, lifting the hands, picking up your left knee and stepping it back. Just that step distance between the feet. So we work into the core to start with. Keep the feet parallel. Lifting the hands. Using that exhale, circle the arms. Bend into the back knee. Tuck the tailbone. Squeeze out all the breath. Inhale, 3 more breaths. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And last one. Good. Inhale, lifting. Step your back foot just a little bit further behind you. Lace the fingers, lifting up, pull up the thighs, round the spine. Pull the tummy in, keep the thighs strong. Stretching through your back as you roll down. Again, either hands resting lightly to your leg, maybe a little bend in your front knee, maybe hands on books or blocks, or maybe the floor. Forehead drawing towards the shin. Just take an inhale, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, drape the body longer over the leg. Maybe deepening in if that's available, so fingers maybe reaching back, maybe taking a bend of your back knee, and maybe finding that balance pose. So you're pushing into the fingers and the heel of your front foot to bring the back knee in towards your front one. Picking up the toes, squeeze the foot in, forehead towards your shin. Keep breathing. Feel that open stretch around your shoulder blades and deep stretch in your hamstring. If the foot's lifted, slowly lower it to the floor. Let's take the hands forwards and then lifting the back foot up just as far as it wants to go. If it's available, take the right hand behind your calf muscle. Keep your drishti, your gaze spot, on something steady. Keep reaching up through those top toes, so the legs lengthening out of the body. So if you have a bent knee, it's going to throw your center of gravity. So keep the legs strong, pulling away from the body. Maybe taking the left hand off as well if you haven't already. Ooh. And slowly take the hands to the floor. Slowly lower the leg into a forward fold. Give the legs a shake. Here's take the feet wide, about as wide as your mat. Then just turn the toes open slightly and then drop the hips between the heels, finding a squat, lifting the chest. Try and get the heels down and just adjust the feet to wherever you need them to be. It's slightly different on each body, so make sure your knees are in the line of your toes. If your toes are too far out and your knees are rolling in, this is going to cause trouble here. So make sure you can get your toes completely flat, your feet grounded. Use the elbows then to push the knees open, palms together. Press the palms in and lift the chest, like your chest is trying to lift over your hands. Tuck the chin slightly, so you're again lengthening the spine right from the tailbone into the back of the head. Feel free to keep that moving a little bit if you want to, just rocking it side to side.